Extend no token to the ruthless hand of ignorance. Sincerity and plain dealing distinguish the true entered apprentice. The arts and sciences, the engaged fellowcraft. An unfeigned piety, the honest and worthy master mason. Though we are all imperfect ashlers, endeavor to befriend brothers who will truly meet you on the level and who strive to make their lives actually reflect the teachings of Freemasonry. Wish all men well, but remember the hourglass and focus resolutely on that which you came here to do. There is no shortage of work in this temple. Our labor is not to be concerned with the recumbent drone, but to gather what is scattered so that the hive will have honey and the lodge greater light.
Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. Be prepared to receive these. Be prepared to receive the supreme counsel of the ancient and accepted Scottish Rite for the southern jurisdiction of the United States of America, Mother Council of the world.
Human progress is our cause. Liberty of thought, our supreme wish. Freedom of conscience, our mission. And the guarantee of equal rights to all people everywhere, our ultimate goal. By order of the Sovereign Grand Commander, I present the officers, active members, and deputies of the Supreme Council.
Inspectors, this council was opened in due form on the 33rd degree on the 16th day of August 2025. Having resolved all matters laid upon our trestle board of the executive session, the council recessed here to once again gather for the purpose of convening in public session. Brother Grand Master of Ceremonies, you are charged with seeing that the Supreme Council is undisturbed in its deliberations. See that this meeting is symbolically tiled.
Sovereign Grand Commander, the Supreme Council is symbolically tiled by the Grand Tiler.
It is well, Brother Lieutenant Grand Commander. From whence does this council come?
The Supreme Council of the 33rd degree of the ancient and accepted Scottish Rite of Freemasonry for the Southern Jurisdiction of the United States of America, Mother Council of the World, was established in the city of Charleston, South Carolina on May 31st, 1801.
Brother Grand Prior, what is our purpose at this hour?
Sovereign Grand Commander, the brethren of our jurisdiction have labored well in the quarries for this past biennium, deserve to receive a report on their good works and the good works performed on their behalf. Further, they must be advised of the plans laid out upon the trestle board and to receive further instruction. Finally, as Masons, we must remember those who are no longer with us in body and celebrate their time with us.
This purpose is indeed important, and as we are taught throughout all the degrees of Freemasonry, we must never begin any great and important undertaking without first invoking the blessings of deity. Brother Grand Master of Ceremonies, conduct the Grand Chaplain to our holy altar.
And life, whom the
ages have adored. We, your servants, assemble at this hour. Thou hast promised, where two or three are gathered together in thy name, thou wilt be in the midst of them and bless them. We assemble at this hour to celebrate our life together in this journey. Forgive us, we pray, of our shortcomings and endow us with strength and wisdom necessary for our labors, and carry us with thy mighty hand as we continue to serve you and the children of your creation. Inspire in us affection for our fellows and charity for all people. And may our labors continue to be pleasing in thy divine sight, to thy glory and in thy honor, both now and forever. We pray. Amen.
So mote it be. Amen. Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of our country, followed by the singing of our national anthem. The pledge and the presentation of the colors will be led by illustrious William G. Sizemore II, 33rd degree Grand Cross, Rear Admiral retired U.S. Navy, followed by the anthem by Brother Maynard Edwards, 33rd degree of the Valley of Baltimore, Maryland.
Ladies and brethren, will you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of our great nation? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's glass gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Retire the colors.
I now declare the Supreme Council of the 33rd degree of the ancient and accepted Scottish Rite of Freemasonry for the Southern Jurisdiction of the United States of America, Mother Council of the World, now duly opened in public session. Please be seated. Well, we got through that part all right, I guess. It is a pleasure to welcome all of you, or as we say in the Southern jurisdiction, all y'all, to this public session. Our purpose here today is to inform, to motivate, to excite you about Scottish Rite, and in particular, the flavor of the rite that we have here in the Southern jurisdiction. You will see good brethren and their ladies from every corner of the globe. We have dozens of countries here represented in person, and it is being live streamed. In fact, for the last hour has been live streamed across the world. And I'm already getting comments and notes from people around the world that are with us in spirit and in sight and sound now. So this is an exciting day for us. We work on this for 2 years. You wouldn't know it sometimes, but we do. We work on this thing for 2 years. And I am especially appreciative to all of our staff. I am thanking them right now, just up front, just a personal thanks to each of them. They know how much they mean to me, and I know how much I tend to drive them crazy with all of the details and nitpicking and ideas, but it really works out well as we welcome you to this wonderful event. I want to share with you now a video with a little bit of information to you. Hello, Jim Cole here, Sovereign Grand Commander, and I want to welcome you to the 2025 Biennial Session. I'm coming to you at this moment from the beautiful executive chamber in the House of the Temple. By the time that we gather for the public session, we will have finished our work in this room, and we will have some changes perhaps to statutes. We will have received reports, but now we want to share that information with you. Before we get started, I want to share with you a few things that we've been working on for perhaps most of the biennium, and in some cases, especially in the last few weeks. To serve our members, we met in person at 3 conferences and dozens of times on Zoom. We expanded our YouTube channel to more than 5 million views of 800 videos. We had our largest ever class of Grand Commander Fellows. Our VMAP program, after a dozen years, is still making a positive difference in valleys. Quarterly, I meet online with Valley officers and also with the council and with our fellows. Valley attendance is up, as is enthusiasm. We have strengthened our bonds with Grand Lodges, Shriners, York Rite, and other councils, including Prince Hall. Generous donors have endowed 15 scholarships, which annually support tomorrow's leaders. Grant programs support Masonic youth and appendant bodies. The Plumb Line is published regularly, and we enhance the journal as well as publishing numerous new and old books. The library has a newsletter. We are in sound financial position with clean audits by independent CPAs. And the backlot development is contributing hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue to our charities and to the council each and every year. The Free Will program has generated $72 million in bequests, almost half of which will go to valleys and orients. At the temple, we refurbished the organ, created a new banquet level entrance, built state-of-the-art archival storage, refinished floors, installed new air conditioning, opened multiple new displays for the public, and we expect to complete the re-engineered renovation plan of the House of the Temple by 2027. Everyone worked hard. Our staff are to be complimented and greatly appreciated. Our council provided great leadership to all of the work that you will hear today. But we have plenty of plans and enthusiasm for moving forward, so we welcome you here. Thank you. Thank you very much. And I have to thank the staff, because I don't see these videos, intentionally do not look at these videos ahead of time. You know, they had very little to work with on the front of that video there, and they got around it pretty well with all of those other pictures and things. But it's just, it's exciting to share that with you. You're going to hear a little bit more about some of those items. At this time, I want to tell you about an appointment I made, and it's for your good. It's for the good of everyone who is in here today. I have appointed, and I'd like for him to stand when I call his name, illustrious Joel Bundy, 33rd degree, and he is our grand physician. So I want you to stay standing a second. Now I want you to understand, we're going to be in here until noon. I'm sorry. We got all this stuff we told you already to talk about. But if you feel a little queasy, if you have any kind of health or medical concern, you go around here and my staff will put him in touch with you. We are not going to have any medical or health issues where we cannot put an extraordinary doctor in attendance to provide you care and service. Thank you, Brother Joel, in advance. To my brethren throughout this room, and I'm talking particularly to them, this is not a tiled meeting. If you have a reason to leave this room for a couple of minutes, just get up and slip out, and then you can slip back in. We don't have to go through any permission or anything like that, because I'm not giving you permission, I'm telling you to go, okay? We did a little chant before we left the cabinet room, because I wanted to make sure my brethren who processed in with me understood that. And I said, you heard that advertisement about, well, just say no. Well, I told them, I said, when in doubt, just say go, okay? And I'm not trying to make light of the situation. I am telling you that we care about one another, so we understand that. So please, and we have a grand physician now, and I want you to take advantage of that situation. At this time, I want to remember some lost council members. You know, we consider ourselves a family, and it is important to us to just take a moment at the very beginning. We're going to have a necrology service a little bit later, but I wanted you to know how much we miss those who we have spent years with. And we do call this the council family. Leonard Buffington You know, Lynn was in my class, and we received our crowning as an active member, Sovereign Grand Inspector General, at the same time at the hand of the then newly elected Ronald A. Seal, Grand Commander. Lynn did a masterful job in Georgia. He was so well thought of down there. Al Jorgensen, just a few weeks after I was present at his retirement dinner, he passed. He had served Washington and this council so well. He was an expert in strategic planning, and he assisted us in that, and his wise and gentle counsel will always be remembered. Illustrious Gary Sissel was the Grand Secretary General sitting at that chair 2 years ago. And he, as well as Lynn, was in my class, and we joined this council in 2003 together, the three of us and 4 others being crowned by Ronnie Seal as his first act as Grand Commander. We acknowledge their passing, and we sure wish they were here with us. We will offer up a prayer for all lost brethren in a few minutes in our necrology service, but I especially miss them when we were in there robing up and coming in here, and I wanted to share that with you from the beginning. And I know several of you have memories of them, and I would suggest that you keep those memories close during this session. Brother Grand Secretary General, please call the roll of the craft.
James D. Cole.
Present.
Leonard Proden. Present. Joseph E. Alexander. Present. Robert W. Cockerham. Present. Joe R. Manning, Jr. Present. Marlon L. Mills. Present. David O. Martinez. Present. C. James Graham. Present. Frank C. Baker, asked to be excused. Joe C. Harrison. Present. Jeffrey D. Larson. Present. Jose R. Lopez Rivera. Present. David L. Nielsen. Present. Michael L. Wiggins. Present. Teddy C. Collins. Present. Billy W. Sloan. Present. Tony R. Kroll. Present. R. B. Smith. Wesley D. Thornton. Present. Terry L. Bowman, asked to be excused. Alan W. Atkins. Present. Richard G. Hoover. Present. Andrew L. Geiser. Present. Robert L. Bradshaw. Present. Arnold Gene Cobb, Jr. Present. Daniel J. Wellendorf. Present. Dale V. Sandstrom. Carl J. Hinkle. Present. Warren R. Resner. Present. Richard C. Comras. Present. Norman L. Penn. Present. Donald K. Smith. Present. Michael J. Broom. Present. John C. Barnett. Present. Randall S. Jager. Present. Roger B. Nelson. Present. J. Michael Taylor. Present. Paul E. Davis. Present. Arthur L. Salazar, Jr. Present. Ronald A. Seal. Present. Frank Louie.
Thank you, Brother Grand Secretary General. At this time, I would like to specifically recognize 2 of our brethren, illustrious Frank Louie, one of our newest emeritus members, from California. And Frank, I hope you're standing up because I can't see anything beyond the altar. I think you're out there somewhere. Yes, would you please show your appreciation for Frank Lewis? And now I would like to introduce to you one who is joining us for the first time with a particular title that he has, one who we all stand indebted to for his exemplary leadership and the great example he shows not only as a Mason but as a human being. Join me in welcoming the past Grand Commander, illustrious Ronald A. Seal, 33rd degree. One of the programs that Ronnie really picked up from his predecessor but expanded and carried forward was the Grand Commanders Fellows Program. And those are relatively young in seniority members who are selected from each Orient, who come and who work with the leadership of the council to then go back and assist in providing information and motivation to their valleys. And we've had many success stories with them, but I wanted to share a video with you about our fellows.
Hi, my name is Reed Endersby. I'm from the Valley of Minneapolis.
Peyton Anderson, Richmond Valley Scottish Rite, 2024 Grand Commanders Fellow. The Fellows Program is the identification and lifting up of someone that your valley sees as an emerging leader.
So many great memories from that weekend. One of my biggest takeaways were the friendships that were made and forged that weekend.
The fact that we got the chance to spend a couple days in the House of the Temple, just the 100 or so of us with the leadership team, where we had, all the attention and the run of the place to just go around, ask the questions, and experience the experiences.
I think I underestimated the power of authentic friendship and brotherhood. Some of those friends met that weekend, those brothers, we're still in contact today on a regular basis.
I think the biggest thing that I learned was that I had permission to lead, to ask questions, and to be a part of something that otherwise I'm not sure I would have really pushed into.
Working on sharing ideas, how we better collaborate, and truly uplifting the Masonic family in general.
Leadership is something that we often talk about, but very rarely nurture in a space of others, and this was that experience.
Maybe I would say a highlight reel of my entire Masonic journey of all time.
Look to your left and your right, behind you and in front of you, because you are surrounded by people just like you, hungry for the things that you are hungry for, and going to be put in a place to serve others in the best way possible, which is exactly why we are here and exactly what we are supposed to do.
That's wonderful. I'm going to ask really quickly, I'm going off script here, so I'll probably get shot, but would anyone in the room who is or has been in the Fellows Program please stand? Please stand, just wherever you are. Now, I want you to watch this. See, look at this, up here, here, and all over. Thank you very much. Thank you for being here. Brother Grand Master of Ceremonies, you will present the Grand Masters present from the Southern Jurisdiction to be welcomed by us today as the Supreme Council.
Sovereign Grand Commander, it is my will and pleasure to present to you Most Worshipful Michael Hoskin, 32nd degree KCCH, Grand Master of Masons in Alaska.
Most worshipful, thank you for being here. Always a pleasure to have you in the presence. Thank you for being here. Good to see you. Right over this way.
Sovereign Grand Commander, it is my honor to present to you Most Worshipful Lee J. Creighton, KCCH elect, Grand Master of Masons in Arizona. Sovereign Grand Commander, it is my honor and pleasure to present to you Most Worshipful Michael R. Olegario, 33rd degree elect, Grand Master of Masons in Arkansas. Grand Commander, it is my pleasure to introduce to you Most Worshipful Arthur L. Salazar, 33rd degree, Grand Master of Masons in California. Grand Commander, it is my honor to present to you Most Worshipful William Marshall, 33rd degree, Grand Master of Masons in Colorado. Sovereign Grand Commander, it is my pleasure to introduce to you Most Worshipful Tali Atala, 33rd degree, Grand Master of Masons in Florida. Sovereign Grand Commander, it is my honor to present to you Most Worshipful Mark Bradley, 33rd degree, Grand Master of Masons in Georgia. Sovereign Grand Commander, it is my pleasure, my honor, and with great aloha that I introduce to you Most Worshipful Michael Lopez, 33rd degree elect, Grand Master of Masons in Hawaii. Grand Commander, it is my pleasure and honor to introduce to you Most Worshipful Rick L. Holloway, KCCH, Grand Master of Masons in Idaho. Grand Commander, it is my honor and pleasure to introduce to you Most Worshipful A.J. Brown, Grand Master of Masons in Iowa. Sovereign Grand Commander, it is my pleasure and my honor to introduce to you Most Worshipful Yutaka Yagi, 33rd degree elect, Grand Master of Masons in Japan. Sovereign Grand Commander, it is my honor to introduce to you Most Worshipful Mitchell A. May, KCCH, Grand Master of Masons in Kentucky. Sovereign Grand Commander, it is my honor and pleasure to introduce to you Most Worshipful Randall L. Watson, 33rd degree, Grand Master of Masons in Maryland. Grand Commander, it is my honor to introduce to you Most Worshipful Robert S. Davis, KCCH, Grand Master of Masons in Minnesota. Sovereign Grand Commander, it is my honor to introduce to you Most Worshipful Billy W. Bunch, Grand Master of Masons in Mississippi. Sovereign Grand Commander, it is my pleasure to introduce to you Most Worshipful Kevin M. Fuller, Grand Master of Masons in Missouri. Grand Commander, it is my honor and pleasure to introduce to you Most Worshipful Jason N. Smith, M. Smith, 33rd degree, Grand Master of Masons in Montana. Sovereign Grand Commander, it is my honor to introduce to you Most Worshipful John R. Herbolsheimer, Grand Master of Masons in Nebraska. Grand Commander, it is my pleasure to introduce to you Most Worshipful Zach Golling, 33rd degree, Grand Master of Masons in Nevada. Grand Commander, it is my honor to introduce to you Most Worshipful Robin K. Justice, 33rd degree, Grand Master of Masons in New Mexico. Sovereign Grand Commander, it is my honor to introduce to you Most Worshipful Bobby Rideout, 33rd degree elect, Grand Master of Masons in North Carolina. Grand Commander, it is my honor and pleasure to introduce to you Most Worshipful Fred Kitco, KCCH elect, Grand Master of Masons in North Dakota. Grand Commander, it is my pleasure to introduce to you Most Worshipful James Roderick, KCCH elect, Grand Master of Masons in Oklahoma. Sovereign Grand Commander, it is my honor to introduce to you Most Worshipful Anibal R. Rosario Ruiz, Grand Master of Masons in Puerto Rico. Were you brothers just applauding how I pronounced his name? Thank you for that. Sovereign Grand Commander, it is my pleasure to introduce to you Most Worshipful A.C. Flora, 33rd degree, Acting Grand Master of Masons in South Carolina. Sovereign Grand Commander, it is my pleasure and my honor to introduce to you Most Worshipful Bryant Stokes, KCCH, Grand Master of Masons in South Dakota. Grand Commander, it is my honor to introduce to you Most Worshipful W. Doug Dredden, Grand Master of Masons in Tennessee. Sovereign Grand Commander, it is my pleasure to introduce to you Most Worshipful Rayborn Reader, 33rd degree elect, Grand Master of Masons in Texas. Grand Commander, it is my pleasure to introduce to you Most Worshipful Joe Milner, KCCH, Grand Master of Masons in Utah. Sovereign Grand Commander, it is my honor and pleasure to introduce to you Most Worshipful Gary D. Huffman, KCCH, Grand Master of Masons in Virginia. He's mine. Grand Commander, it is my pleasure to introduce to you Most Worshipful Roger B. Nelson, 33rd degree, Grand Master of Masons in Washington. Thank you, but that name was not that hard to pronounce. Sovereign Grand Commander, I take pleasure in introducing to you Most Worshipful Gregory K. Sheik, Grand Master of Masons in Wyoming. Sovereign Grand Commander, it is my pleasure to introduce to you Most Worshipful Eric B. Kuchner, 33rd degree elect, Grand Master of Masons in the District of Columbia. To my brethren in the room, as Freemasons, let us welcome these leaders of our fraternity who give us so much honor in their presence and so much example from their leadership. Public grand honors, my brethren, 3 times 3, taking your lead from me. And now it is my pleasure to introduce to you, to bring remarks on behalf of all of the visiting Grand Masters, a good friend, one who I have learned much from, and we have shared many stories and anecdotes and experiences. He is a tremendous host, and technically he is the host in this Masonic jurisdiction. Please give your attention to Most Worshipful Eric Kuchner, the Most Worshipful Grand Master
of Masons in the District of Columbia and 33rd degree elect. Thank you.
Good morning, illustrious sirs, brethren, family, and friends of Scottish Rite Freemasonry, and welcome to our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. Many thanks to the Supreme Council, to our illustrious Sovereign Grand Commander, Jim Cole, and his wonderful wife, Mary Ann, and to all of the visiting dignitaries and fellow Grand Masters who have joined us today and who have traveled from very far and wide, for making this 2025 biennial session so inspiring. To all of our spouses, thank you for accompanying us, encouraging us, supporting us as we all find our light together and share it with the world. You are the pillars of wisdom, of strength, and of beauty, all braided into one. Each biennial session is a symbolic moment for reflection, for gratitude, and for renewal, a time to take a pause from our daily distractions and the hustle and bustle of life, to put down our iPhones and to reflect upon our lives, to draw plans upon the trestle boards for the coming season, and to inhale the breath of renewed hope, joy, and prosperity that these sessions bring with them every 2 years. As we reflect back, we must challenge ourselves through duty and service, modesty and humility before the great architect and our fellow mankind. And remind ourselves that as Scottish Rite Freemasons, we are a beacon of hope and civility, striving to elevate humanity to be its very finest. Central to the bedrock of our craft is a spirit of living generously, the spirit of living generously and being role models of servant leadership. Whether it is giving of your time, giving of your ideas, your empathy to one another, your sweat, your knowledge, your patience, your creativity, or your treasure. At its heart, Freemasonry is a volunteer-driven society, so we all must look for opportunities to serve one another and this wonderful craft. When I gaze down at my great-grandfather's Masonic ring, the light catching the nicks and the smoothnesses of a long-gone generation, it is a constant reminder that in order to steer the ship of the future, we must never forget from whence we came. Our history, our traditions, our rituals, our values, our regularity, and our landmarks. Look around this glowing room this morning. Soak up the energy and look into your own inner temple. Let the light catch your own mirror and let it reflect for just a moment into your soul, reflecting the nicks and smoothnesses of your own personal life's journey. We are but a moment in time, connecting the past with the future, but each moment, my brethren, each life has the power and the responsibility to influence the world. We are a nucleus, our universal truths, ancient in origin, and taught through the internalization of lessons that have been passed from one generation to the next, hidden within our ancient symbols, our rituals, and allegories of our ancestors. These form the starting point for Masonic action. As brethren, we are connected by history, time, traditions, rituals, our obligations to one another and to the craft, our shared values about our countries, about humanity, and a shared curiosity about ourselves and the world around us. We have an inner drummer of self-motivation. Masonry, my brethren, is also a code of conduct, a set of standards and expectations, an outlook on life. All of these things together create a physical, emotional, intellectual, and spiritual foundation and scaffolding for our living temple. This morning, as we welcome a new biennial session, we remind ourselves to build, to nurture, and to utilize our living Masonic temple to tackle the most pressing problems of our day, as our Masonic ancestors did theirs. As the entropy slashing across our world, our countries, our communities, our families, and even ourselves demands it. Masonry practiced with accuracy and enthusiasm, and the Masonic incubator of values, relationships, and solutions that it enables is needed in our time more than ever. It demands unity of focus and a deep, deep understanding of who we are and why we are all here. As we travel down this winding road, at times confronted by ruffians, it demands our own personal bravery and courage to stand up for our Masonic values as we grow as leaders. We must be willing to make ourselves vulnerable and keep our living temple sacrosanct as we explore the intellectual and emotional challenges of our time. Standing together, shoulder to shoulder, we are guardians of civil society, and we must work to repair the tears in the fabric of our world. And we must work to promote the search for wisdom and truth through the liberal arts and sciences, and to advance a society based on the rule of law that enables liberty of the people to self-govern and become masters of their own destiny. Washington, D.C., our shiny city upon a hill, is a special place to live, to work, to visit, and to be a Freemason. We are in one of the greatest cosmopolitan cultural centers of the world, surrounded by the symbols of liberty and freedom, of self-governance and hope, of knowledge and wisdom, truth and justice, duty, service, sacrifice, and indeed, Masonic philosophy. The nation's capital is a crossroads, a place where everyone from around the world comes together to bathe in our glorious experiment in self-governance that drives innovation, commerce, liberty, and the rule of law. It is on Masonic bedrock that our nation's capital, and for that matter, our American experiment, resides. Freemasonry in Washington, D.C. is the heartbeat of Freemasonry Universal, and as Scottish Rite Freemasons, we all have a special responsibility to the craft, to be role models of civic virtue, of modesty, and of humility, and to serve as champions of Masonic and American values. As we begin to look ahead, it is this heartbeat of life energy that we all share in our amazing Masonic city that renourishes and inspires all of us to be our finest. As I stand before you, filled with excitement, I challenge all of us to become better servant leaders, to embrace the practical, contemporary application of our craft, to take on the greatest challenges of our time, to share in the nectar of fellowship, and to create impact where the spirit of generosity shines brightest. Be proud, my brethren. Be proud. Be proud to be Scottish Rite Freemasons. Thank you, illustrious.
Thank you, most worshipful sir. At this time, we're going to see a video about one of the most important programs that we have, and that is the scholarship program. We have the ability as Masons to improve the future. We can do that by supporting higher education and these young people who are going to change tomorrow in a great and positive manner. So I want you to hear about this program right now.
My name is Samantha. I'm a student at the George Washington University and a student at the Elliott School of International Affairs. And I'm a recipient of the Scottish Rite Endowed Scholarship at the George Washington University. First time I was ever at the House of the Temple was for the reception for the scholarship recipients. Walking up the steps, I mean, you feel like you're walking into the most important building ever. When you walk into the atrium, that feeling does not go away at all. I'm a docent at the House of the Temple, and what that means is we give a tour of the main parts of the temple along with our museum. Before I started working here, I did not know much about Freemasonry. Since being here, I have learned so much more. And honestly, that's one of the things that I like most about working here, is that I find something new about it almost every day. Scholarships provide so much, and it not just monetarily. Obviously, the monetary component is so important to help alleviate a lot of the monetary pressures, but then it goes beyond that, that it is a vote of confidence towards my studies, and that what I am studying and what I am pursuing is important, and that it is going to make a difference, and that it honestly, when I think about it, it definitely motivates me. And you are attached to this network, this large network, especially in the U.S., of Freemasons that definitely want to help you. They want to see you succeed. I mean, I've seen that through the scholarship. I've seen that through the internship. Every single day here, I know that the people here want to see me succeed. I really do want to say thank you to all of the Scottish Rite Freemasons and all of the organizations that make this scholarship possible. It really does change futures. There's not enough words to express my gratitude.
Now, isn't that a lot better than me standing up here and showing you a pie chart with how many different scholarships? Yeah. And if you would like a tour of the House of the Temple from that young lady to this afternoon, tomorrow afternoon, she continues to be a tour guide as one of the interns at our House of the Temple, in addition to being a scholarship recipient. We are in literally a couple of minutes, going to introduce a great lineup of wonderful friends from around the world. This year in particular is special because back in May, Grand Commanders from all over the globe met in Romania. And I want to share with you a little story of that journey, because you're going to see many of these brethren who are standing up right now in this video. So please pay close attention to this one.
Bucharest, Romania, once known as the Little Paris of the East. In May 2025, the historic city became the center of global Freemasonry. From May 7th to 11th, 2025, the 21st World Conference of Supreme Councils of the 33rd and last degree of the Ancient and Accepted Scottish Rite brought together delegates from 61 nations, led by Romania's Sovereign Grand Commander Stelian Nistor. The event focused on Scottish Rite challenges, opportunities, and possible solutions. The southern jurisdiction of the United States was represented by Sovereign Grand Commander James D. Cole and Grand Archivist Arturo de Hoyos, both playing key roles in the discussions and presentations. Delegates were welcomed at Cotroceni Palace by Romanian President Ilie Bolojan, underscoring the national importance of this gathering. The Global Assembly celebrated unity, heritage, and progress, highlighting tradition, cultural identity, and modern engagement. History was made as the Prince Hall Supreme Councils were recognized as full members, a milestone for inclusion and mutual respect. Commander Cole shared strategies for digital transformation and global philanthropy, while Illustrious de Hoyos closed the conference with a lecture and book signing on the roots of the Scottish Rite. In the heart of Bucharest, the spirit of Freemasonry found new strength in brotherhood, vision, and shared purpose.
Brother Grand Master of Ceremonies, you will present for introduction our guest from the Supreme Councils in amity with this council, followed by the representatives of our allied organizations.
Sovereign Grand Commander, it is my pleasure to introduce to you illustrious Jesus Soriano, 33rd degree, Sovereign Grand Commander of the Supreme Council for Spain. Grand Commander, it is my pleasure and honor to introduce to you illustrious Walter F. Wheeler, 33rd degree, Sovereign Grand Commander of the USA Northern Masonic Jurisdiction. Grand Commander, it is my pleasure to introduce to you illustrious Jorge Luis de Andrade Lins, 33rd degree, Sovereign Grand Commander of the Supreme Council for the Federal Republic of Brazil. Sovereign Grand Commander, it is my honor to present to you illustrious Guyton Mentor, 33rd degree, Sovereign Grand Commander of the Supreme Council for Haiti. Grand Commander, it is my honor to present to you illustrious John Boyington, 33rd degree, Sovereign Grand Commander of the Supreme Council for England and Wales. Grand Commander, it is my honor and pleasure to introduce to you illustrious Charles Woolridge Gordon, 33rd degree, Sovereign Grand Commander of the Supreme Council for Scotland.
Charles, good to see you, my friend. Always great to have you. Enjoy yourself.
Grand Commander, it is my honor to present to you illustrious Noberto Rossini, 33rd degree, Sovereign Grand Commander of the Supreme Council for the Republic of Argentina.
Welcome home, Bert.
Grand Commander, it is my pleasure to introduce to you illustrious Eduardo Mejia Yabid, 33rd degree, Sovereign Grand Commander of the Supreme Council of the Dominican Republic. Grand Commander, it is my pleasure to introduce to you illustrious Harun Kuzgan, 33rd degree, Sovereign Grand Commander of the Supreme Council for Turkey. Sovereign Grand Commander, it is my pleasure to introduce to you illustrious Nestor Chamorro, 33rd degree, Sovereign Grand Commander of the Supreme Council of the Republic of Costa Rica. Grand Commander, it's my honor to introduce to you illustrious Alejandro de Doff Salcedo, 33rd degree, Sovereign Grand Commander of the Supreme Council for the Republic of Paraguay. Paraguay. Sovereign Grand Commander, it is my honor to introduce to you illustrious Sandor Zatmari, 33rd degree, Sovereign Grand Commander of the Supreme Council for Hungary. Grand Commander, it is my honor to introduce to you illustrious Herb Weber, 33rd degree, Sovereign Grand Commander of the Supreme Council of Switzerland. Thank you for being here. Grand Commander, it is my pleasure to introduce to you illustrious David Bennett, 33rd degree, Sovereign Grand Commander of the Supreme Council of Canada. Sovereign Grand Commander, it is my honor to introduce to you illustrious Andrea Rosselli, 33rd degree, Sovereign Grand Commander of the Supreme Council for Italy. Grand Commander, it is my pleasure to introduce to you illustrious Stelian Nistor, 33rd degree, Sovereign Grand Commander of the Supreme Council of Romania. Sovereign Grand Commander, it is my honor to introduce to you illustrious Corey D. Hawkins, Sr., 33rd degree, Sovereign Grand Commander of the United Supreme Council, Prince Hall Affiliation, Southern Jurisdiction. Grand Commander, it is my honor to present to you illustrious Melvin J. Bazemore, 33rd degree, Sovereign Grand Commander of the United Supreme Council, Prince Hall Affiliation, Northern Jurisdiction. Grand Commander, it is my honor to introduce to you illustrious Guillermo Eloy Campaña Arevalo, 33rd degree, Sovereign Grand Commander of the Supreme Council for the Republic of Ecuador. Grand Commander, it is my honor and pleasure to introduce to you illustrious Paweł Lysakowski, 33rd degree, Sovereign Grand Commander of the Supreme Council for Poland. Grand Commander, it's my pleasure to introduce to you illustrious Lucas Horcica, 33rd degree, Sovereign Grand Commander of the Supreme Council for the Czech Republic. Grand Commander, it's my pleasure to introduce to you illustrious Walter Zingel, 33rd degree, Sovereign Grand Commander of the Supreme Council for Austria. Okay, thank you for that. Grand Commander, it is my honor to introduce to you illustrious Alexander Ludwig, 33rd degree, Sovereign Grand Commander of the Supreme Council for Germany. Sovereign Grand Commander, it is my honor to introduce to you illustrious Juan Carlos Villaseca Gonzalez, 33rd degree, Sovereign Grand Commander of the Supreme Council for the Republic of Bolivia. Grand Commander, it is my honor to introduce to you illustrious Marcel Hodelat, 33rd degree, Sovereign Grand Commander of the Supreme Council of the Republic of El Salvador. Sovereign Grand Commander, it is my pleasure to introduce to you Illustrious Antero J. Leitanen, 33rd degree, Sovereign Grand Commander of the Supreme Council for Finland. Grand Commander, it is my honor to present to you illustrious Mehrdad Yousefiani, 33rd degree, Sovereign Grand Commander, Supreme Council for Iran in exile. Grand Commander, it is my pleasure to introduce to you illustrious Robert B. Hayat, 33rd degree, Sovereign Grand Commander of the Supreme Council for Azerbaijan. Sovereign Grand Commander, it is my pleasure to introduce to you illustrious Emmanuel Garakios, 33rd degree, Sovereign Grand Commander of the Supreme Council for Greece. Grand Commander, I take pleasure in presenting to you illustrious Teiko Foley, 33rd degree, General Grand High Priest of the General Grand Chapter of Royal Arch Masons International. Sovereign Grand Commander, it is my honor to introduce to you illustrious Dick Browning, 33rd degree, General Grand Secretary, General Grand Chapter, Royal Arch Masons. Sovereign Grand Commander, I take pleasure in introducing to you illustrious Bill Snyder, 33rd degree, Most Puissant General Grand Master, General Grand Council of Cryptic Masons International. Yeah. Grand Commander, I take honor in presenting to you illustrious David Kusman, 33rd degree, Most Eminent Grand Master, Grand Encampment of Knights Templar, USA. Sovereign Grand Commander, it is my honor to introduce to you illustrious Lawrence Tucker, 33rd degree, Grand Recorder, Grand Encampment of Knights Templar, USA. Grand Commander, I have the honor of presenting to you illustrious Jeff Wonderling, 33rd degree, Provincial Grand Master, Royal Order of Scotland. Grand Commander, I have the honor of presenting to you illustrious Lawrence Lieb, 33rd degree, Imperial Chief Rabbin, Shriners International. Grand Commander, I have the honor of introducing to you illustrious Thomas Sturgeon, 33rd degree, President, George Washington Masonic National Memorial. Sovereign Grand Commander, I have the pleasure of introducing to you Brother Thomas Goodwin, International Master Counselor, Demolay International. Sovereign Grand Commander, I have the pleasure of presenting to you illustrious John Sellers, 33rd degree, Grand Master, Demolay International. Grand Commander, I have the honor of introducing to you illustrious Brian Dodson, 33rd degree, Grand Sovereign United Grand Imperial Council, Red Cross of Constantine. Sovereign Grand Commander, I have the honor and pleasure of introducing to you illustrious Bryce Heldreth, 33rd degree, Governor General, York Rite College, York Rite Sovereign College of North America.
My brethren, behold, these leaders of the Supreme Councils, in amity to our Supreme Council and the allied Masonic organizations who support so much of the family of Freemasonry, you will join me in saluting them with the public grand honors, 3 times 3, taking your lead from me. I now want to introduce to you to respond on behalf of these visitors, one who is a dear friend of mine. Since the time that I was introduced to him by his then Sovereign Grand Commander, I have referred to him as the Grand Grin. And see, he is my dear friend. I'd like to introduce to you at this time the Sovereign Grand Commander, the United Supreme Council, Prince Hall affiliation, Northern Jurisdiction, Melvin Bazemore. Dr. Melvin Bazemore, 33rd degree, hear ye him.
Thank you. To Sovereign Grand Commander James D. Cole, Most Worshipful Grand Master, to my fellow Sovereign Grand Commanders and conservators of Masonry, leaders of the allied bodies, and all of the sound of my voice, good morning.
Good morning.
The Bible says in John 15:13, no greater love than a man has than this, that he would lay down his life for a friend. As I reflect upon that scripture, and as I walk the halls of this biennial session, greeting old friends and meeting new ones, I realize that the statements contained in the Statement of Unity are not mere words etched on parchments of paper, but the indelible values contained in the hearts of men. I want to thank all of you for this opportunity to speak on behalf of our visitors. It is indeed an honor and privilege to bring greetings on behalf of my United Supreme Council. And I ask that we all continue to do the great work of Masonry, for we are indeed honored to be here on today. And I want to thank all of you for all of the hospitality, all of the old friends that I've greeted, all of the new friends that I have met. And may God continue to bless the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. Let us continue to do the work of Freemasonry. And remember, as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, that the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. God bless you all.
Once again, my man, once again, thank you very much.
There always was an organ in here. In 1915, the original organ was a Kimball, and it functioned beautifully until the late 70s when it started to deteriorate. So they installed in 1984 a Chance organ, and it functioned similarly to the Kimball for a good 40 plus years. And it started to have some serious deterioration in the bellows and in the traditional pneumatic action that connects the organ here with 100 feet above us, the organ chamber. So we explored the idea of restoring the organ, and it was such a fine instrument that we decided we had to.
Well, in particular, you can see that pipes have been removed in this area here. Because these pipes and some of the big ones over there that are also missing were beginning to lean and in metal fatigue. So all of the reeds, which is this pipe with this base, the reed pipe, is going to be straightened out, corrected, and then soldered along the outer edge with a rod to hold them completely straight. This is a once-in-a-lifetime thing, so we want to make sure we do it properly and make it as beautiful as possible.
The biggest challenge was getting up and down the 78 circular steps on this staircase up to the organ chamber, 100 feet above the floor, and then removing the old console because the console itself was failing, then waiting until the new console was built and bringing it all up again. Everything did manage to come together, and we have quite a masterpiece here. First of all, I'd like to thank all of the hundreds of contributors who have got us this far. That said, there's still a remaining relatively small amount of money that needs to be raised so that we can reach our goal and make sure that music is part of the Scottish Rite, as well as building our Masonic and Scottish Rite community.
And as our grand organist, Paul Delinsky, mentioned, it is because of the generosity of our donors that we now have that. And by the way, as a reminder, all of the music you heard as we processed in and as we retired later was recorded from the organ that you saw in the video. So it is our tie back to history, to that temple room. At this time, I would like to receive a report and to have information shared with you about some legislative matters that we undertook a couple of days ago. So hear ye this report from the Jurisprudence and Legislation Committee.
Good morning. My name is Joe Manning. I'm the Sovereign Grand Inspector General in Oklahoma and the chairman of the Jurisprudence and Legislation Committee. The primary focus of our committee is to review statutory interpretations that are made by the active and deputy members of the Supreme Council during the biennium, and to review and present to the Council any legislation for its consideration. There were no decisions or actions taken by active or deputy members of the Supreme Council that required Jurisprudence Committee review or Supreme Council actions. There were 5 resolutions submitted for consideration at the 2025 Supreme Council session. The Jurisprudence and Legislation Committee met and thoroughly reviewed each of these submissions. Resolutions were reworded or clarified to be in legal and proper form for consideration by the active members of the Supreme Council. These members met in executive session on Saturday, August the 16th, 2025, to review and discuss these matters. The following amendments of our statutes were adopted and are briefly summarized below. The wording will be distributed throughout the jurisdiction in the next few weeks. Statute Amendment Number 1 amended Article 7, Section 1 to add a youth committee. Statute Amendment Number 2 amending Article 13, Section 21 to change the criteria for recognition of 50-year membership from initiation date to actual service. Statute Number 3 was not adopted. Statute Number 4 amending Article 4, Sections 2 and 3 to adjust the Knight Commander of the Court of Honor allocation formulation. And finally, Statute Number 5 amending Article 4, Sections 9 and 10 to adjust the 33rd degree honors allocation formula. This concludes the report of our Jurisprudence and Legislation matters for this biennium. Thank you.
Your turn. You go over there and I'll introduce you first. About a year after I met Mel, I was then introduced by his Sovereign Grand Commander to a young man, and he likes it when I emphasize that, a young man who was already a leader in Freemasonry. He has served for more than a few years as the Grand Master of Prince Hall Masons in Alabama, and he has become a very dear friend of mine and of our Supreme Council. I would like to introduce to you for remarks the illustrious Dr. Corey Hawkins, who is 33rd degree, Esquire, an attorney. I thought it would be good to follow jurisprudence with an attorney. And he is the Sovereign Grand Commander, United Supreme Council, Prince Hall affiliated Scottish Rite Freemasonry for the Southern Jurisdiction, United States of America. Hear ye him.
Grand Commander Cole, and to the seated Grand Master of this jurisdiction, to my fellow Sovereign Grand Commanders and most worshipful Grand Masters, heads and representatives of the allied bodies, brothers and ladies all, good morning. Good morning. It is indeed an honor and a privilege to be here in your midst. Grand Commander Cole, sir, I thank you for this opportunity and I thank you for the invitation. Let me start out by saying to those Grand Commanders who are present, I am the proud Grand Commander of the Prince Hall's Southern Jurisdiction, and I say to you, thank you, sirs, for giving us the opportunity to have a seat at the table within the World Conference. We have felt like and have known that we should be there for many years, but now we actually have the opportunity, and we thank you for that. It really means a lot to us. We want to expand our footprint globally within Scottish Rite Masonry. It gives us an opportunity to continue to spread the cement of brotherly love as we serve in the brotherhood of man under the fatherhood of God, working together to build and promote Scottish Rite Masonry throughout the world. I have some illustrious sirs present with me on today, and I just want to ask them to stand so that you all may see them and thank them for their support in coming to be with us on today. Grand Commander, again, thank you for the opportunity, and it's so great to see Grand Commander Seal present. I'm not going to say roll tide on today.
Go Tide!
But we're looking forward to an outstanding football season coming up. Thank you, and may God bless you.
At this time, I know a couple of you have already stood, but I have some special guests in the room. They have a badge that says Special Guest of the Sovereign Grand Commander. I would like to recognize every Prince Hall Mason present. If you would stand, and I am standing because I am an honorary member of both the United Supreme Councils. So would we stand? It is such a pleasure to have those special guests with us. You all know how much this entire topic means to me, and to have the members of the World Conference support this very noble concept was a great and exciting joy for me in the month of May. This time I would like to acknowledge the new deputies which were appointed since the last session. From Washington, the illustrious Roger B. Nelson, 33rd degree. From Alabama, illustrious J. Michael Taylor, 33rd degree. From West Virginia, illustrious Paul E. Davis, 33rd degree. From California, illustrious Arthur L. Salazar, Jr., 33rd degree. now we would like to hear a report of our membership services effort, and I will tell you that everything we do is related to membership in one way or another, but let's hear what's been going on in our membership services area.
Good morning. I'm Roger Nelson, deputy in Washington and a member of the Scottish Rite Membership Committee. We use everything at our disposal, from technology to personal contact, to aid our membership efforts. The official Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, Southern Jurisdiction, United States of America YouTube channel now features over 800 videos with over 55,000 subscribers and 5.4 million views. What truly distinguishes this effort is the consistent delivery of meaningful, high-quality content produced with professional skill, thoughtful storytelling, and the unwavering dedication of our talented staff. These efforts reflect our deep commitment to membership engagement and to ensuring that the Scottish Rite remains relevant, inspiring, and impactful in the lives of our brethren. The 170 valleys using online petitions are reporting great success. These petitions are customized for each valley and handle online initiation fees and connect directly to our Sentinel membership database, thus reducing work for our secretaries and increasing the accuracy of our membership data. The Membership Craftsman Online College, over 5,300 members, provides Masonic education and leadership training to Scottish Rite leaders and its officers. The MCOC uses both multimedia as well as traditional content. In August of last year, we hosted 107 Grand Commanders Fellows at the House of the Temple, the largest class in the 30-plus year history of the program. The energy level among these members was extremely high. Attendees developed several innovative ideas. VMAP, our primary member engagement tool, has been redesigned for valleys regardless of size. VMAP clearly helps valleys succeed, with 50% of all our valleys achieving the level of excellence in VMAP. In 2024, we held 3 in-person conferences in Salt Lake City, Kansas City, and Jacksonville. Attendee surveys reported high satisfaction. Our keynote speaker was illustrious Sir Knight Jeff Bolstad, 33rd degree Right Eminent Deputy Grand Master of the Grand Encampment Knights Templar USA, who focused on leadership skills. Additional topics included membership strategies, fundraising opportunities, and an interactive session with our Grand Commander. As reported on our website and elsewhere throughout today's session, the conferences for 2026 have already been scheduled. The Grand Commander's reinstatement program has proven to be an invaluable tool for reconnecting with our brothers who had previously been suspended for non-payment of dues, bringing back almost 900 members over the past 2 years. Our Zoom partnership continues to support our Orients, Valleys, Grand Lodges, DMLA, and a number of other Masonic entities. Using this technology, we provided many courses for our members in Sentinel database skills, officer training, finances, fundraising, and of course, VMAP programming. We expanded our inventory of ebooks, including A Bridge to Light, which is of course our bestseller, Morals and Dogma, Scottish Rite Ritual Monitor and Guide, and The Porch in the Middle Chamber. Additional texts are also in process. A growing number of titles are available in audiobook format as well. Our surveys report that our efforts are yielding positive results. Last year, 2/3 of our valleys experienced increased enthusiasm, and over half reported increased attendance compared to the previous year. Plus, we've initiated 5,000 new members in the last 2 years. On behalf of the entire membership committee, thanks to each of you for all you do to grow and to strengthen our beloved fraternity.
Now, he mentioned what we're planning to do next year. Let's talk about those conferences for just a second.
Tradition. It shapes our values. It keeps us centered and engaged in these uncertain times. Innovation. It drives us forward. It creates opportunities and finds solutions through action. Brotherhood. It unites us in purpose and strengthens everything we do. In 2026, the Scottish Rite will bring together leaders from across the southern jurisdiction to explore tradition, innovation, and brotherhood. RiteWorks 2026 Leadership Conferences. Save the dates in Las Vegas, March 5th through the 7th, Dallas, March 26th through the 28th, and Charlotte, April 9th through the 11th. RiteWorks 2026. Tradition, innovation, and building our brotherhood through engagement and action.
I hope to see all y'all there at each of those. We had meetings of the committees, and we also had an executive session I had mentioned earlier. And in the fraternal relations actions, we had a thorough review of our relations with various Supreme Councils, and we voted to extend fraternal recognition to the Supreme Council of Slovakia, established in 2016, whose Sovereign Grand Commander is Borut Gersak. And we look forward to welcoming them at our next session. At this time, I mentioned earlier that we should be thinking about those who are not among us, and we have that same thought that we should consider for the entire jurisdiction. So at this time, I would ask our Grand Chaplain to please lead our necrology service.
Three chimes. The number 3 has meaning and purpose, not only in religion, but most especially in this fraternity. This year, we remember 3 people in particular, who are no longer present with us in this place. Names like Buffington, Jorgensen, and Sissel. I'm sure that each of you could remember 3 more. 3. You know, there was always 3 meetings I never wanted to go to. One was the untimely funeral of a dear, dear friend or family member. Another was the annual salary setting meeting for me at the church. And the other was a district pastor's meeting. I didn't have superintendents all the time as good as Ken Lyons was. One day I wasn't going to that meeting, that preacher's meeting. And my secretary said, Gene, you need to get over your bad attitude about going to this meeting. And I said, why, Ann? And she said, because you're the host. So I went with my bad attitude, thinking the whole way to the meeting, what did I come here to do today? What am I going to do at this meeting today? That's a question the Supreme Council's already heard. We came here to give. Every one of us in this room came here to give. What did we come here to do? Well, yesterday, you heard that we came here to love God and to love one another. What did we come here to do today? Today, we came here to remember. We came here to remember those we gave love to and who gave love to us. Those God loved us enough to share with us, who have now gone to be with God. When I went to that pastor's meeting, that meeting I took my bad attitude with, I had a life-changing experience in that meeting, because our new DS, who actually later became my bishop, it's a good thing I went to that meeting. But my new district superintendent, she would take a hymn and we'd sing a verse and then we'd do some work, and we'd sing a verse and we'd do some work, and the meeting was not boring. I actually looked forward then to going to preachers' meetings from that time forward. And the hymn she chose that day was written by a hymn writer from North Dakota. Dale, if I get it wrong, I'm not as good as Andy. But if I get it wrong, you tell me, all right? John Yovasaker. Thank you. John Yovasaker. And he wrote a hymn that changed my life, because it reminded me that God is with us everywhere, with our bad attitudes, with our good attitudes, with our joys, with our sorrows, with the things we want to do, with the things we've got to do, with everything. Because this hymn talks about how God is with us throughout our life. Don't worry, I'm not going to sing it. But I am going to share it. Imagine God saying these words to each of us. I was there to hear your warning cry. I'll be there when you are old. I was there the day you were baptized to see your life unfold. I was there when you were but a child with a faith to suit you well. In a blaze of light, you wandered off to find where demons dwell. When you heard the wonder of the word, I was there to cheer you on. You were raised to praise the living Lord, to whom you now belong. if you find someone to share your time and you join your hearts as one, I'll be there to make your verses rhyme from dusk to rising sun. In the Middle Ages of your life, not too old nor longer young, I'll be there as I have always been. Complete what I've begun. When the evening gently settles in and you shut your weary eyes, I'll be there as I have always been, with just one more surprise. I was there to hear your warning cry. I'll be there when you are old. I was there the day you were baptized to see your life unfold. Past, present, future. We came here to give, to love, to remember. And right now, this very moment, is time for us to chime in. Let us pray. Gracious God, thank you for your presence in our life. Thank you for the gift of giving, the gift of love, and more importantly, remembering to be present with us always, even to the close of the age. Amen.
I know what I tell other people when I see them that are not familiar with Masonry or Scottish Rite Masonry in particular. I'll say, "You've never heard of Masonry?" And they'll say no. And I said, well, Masonry is a fraternity for men where they become brothers and they have this bond. And I said, Masonry takes good men and makes them better. I mean, the best thing about Masonry to me are the people you meet along the way and the friendships you develop. And these are like lifelong friends. I mean, it's just, it's hard to describe, but it's like a family. It's like a second family. You will make a network of friends, and your husband's friends and their ladies will become your friends and ladies. It's like you end up having the same morals and values, and you can share those, and you know when you're with people like that, that you're around good people. About a month before we were to be married, he told me he was thinking about joining the Masons. And I said, what are Masons? never even heard of Masons before. He says, well, I don't know, but my mom says they're good men and I should talk to them. And I said, well, that's what you want to do, go ahead. And I would never think that 42 years later, that Masonry would have been such a big part of our life. When I say my prayers at night, I say, dear Lord, please guide, lead, and direct us where you want us to be and what you want us to do. And I think that's why we're here. He spoils me. I mean, every morning, I shouldn't say this because then all you guys will be in trouble. But he always has my coffee ready for me because I like special coffee with chocolate in it. One of the things that he says a lot to me, he goes, oh, the sky's blue, it's beautiful today. It's a Marianne kind of day. I mean, he's nice, he's considerate, he's loving. He helps with the laundry, he does a lot of things around the house, so.
Perhaps I should be editing videos a little bit better. I asked for a video that would highlight a special group that we have among us. Some of us were fortunate enough to have our ladies with us at this session. I realize that particularly those who traveled from around the world may not have their ladies with us. I know they would prefer that they would have them with them. We can't do this without them. So there is no way that we can celebrate a biennium worth of effort without acknowledging our ladies. So would every lady in the room please stand? Most of them seem to be over here, but please stand. I noticed several of my colleagues were looking at one another to make sure they clapped longer than the brother beside them because they kept looking at their wife like. It is so good to have them with us. This time I want to acknowledge 3 who were elected as the new active members of this Supreme Council. Illustrious Carl J. Hinkle, 33rd degree, now SGIG in Colorado. Illustrious Warren R. Doc Rensner, 33rd degree, SGIG in Kansas. And the illustrious Richard C. Comress, 33rd degree, SGIG in Oregon. At this time, let us hear about your generosity.
Good morning. I'm Wesley Thornton. I'm the SGIG in New Mexico and chair of the Development Committee. Unlike most council committees, we have non-council members who represent our donors around the jurisdiction. We work with the council's development office to create relationships and encourage brethren and others to contribute to our Supreme Council Orient and Valley philanthropies. This is a report of our efforts for the last biennium, highlighting but a few of the successful programs. Additionally, information is available online in the Grand Commander's allocution. Our new Director of Development, Brother Phil Short, 32 degree KCCH elect, who succeeded illustrious Matt Zamowski, 33rd degree, is off to a great start.
The Acacia Guild program continues to grow. Since its beginning in 2018, it has generated over $1.3 million in gifts by encouraging annual donations of $1,000 of each of the Guild's members. In April 2022, the Council began funding a third-party program called Free Will, which allows brethren to create at no charge a legally binding will in all 50 states. We now have exceeded $72 million in newly designated bequests and revocable living trusts through this program. Approximately 45%, $32 million of this money, of the bequest is designated to go directly to Valley and Orient philanthropies. This will be new money to the Orients and Valleys at no cost to them. At the 2023 session, we announced the creation of 2 new scholarship initiatives, Endowed and Annual. These programs allow donors to name either a permanently endowed or annual scholarship. So far, we have created 15 scholarships and 9 annual scholarships. This year, after reviewing over 800 applications, we selected 24 scholarship winners. Orients and Valleys also operate scholarship programs. The combined annual value of the awards from our national charity and from the Valley Orient-based scholarships exceed $1.7 million. This major success changed many lives in many communities. Our members should be very proud of this significant impact and on the future of our world. Donor gifts also fund 2 grant programs, one for Appendant Body Achievement Grants and one for Masonic Youth. In 2024, we funded 4 grants to Appendant Bodies totaling $11,000. A total of $20,000 was awarded to 2 Appendant Bodies and 8 Masonic Youth Groups in 2025. We hope this amount continues to grow as it receives funding from the new Sphinx of Wisdom program, in which donors join the effort by donating $100 annually. Our donor officers are located regionally throughout the jurisdiction, tasked with the job of supporting Valley and Orient fundraisers, and in addition, supporting our national charities. We greatly appreciate the generosity of our members, and please know that your gifts are making a very real difference. Thank you.
This time I would like to announce that we have received a major gift, a $900,000 gift from the estate of one of our 33rd degree members. Illustrious Jack London served his country. He was a retired captain in the U.S. Navy, and he was a very successful businessman, and in fact was the exemplar in the 2015 class for the 33rd degree. For this, we will be renaming an exhibit in the Americanism room in his honor, as well as part of this money was placed to support the ROTC program so that can continue in his name in perpetuity. So I just wanted to share with you that significant gift that we have just settled, cash gift that we have recently settled. And I want to especially acknowledge the efforts of illustrious and most worshipful Akram Elias of the District of Columbia, 33rd degree Grand Cross, and also of illustrious Bill Sizemore, 33rd degree Grand Cross. Those 2 individuals were key in securing this gift. What we'd like to do now is to share a video with you of what we offer educationally for our members in the Master Craftsman Online College. That will be followed by a discussion of the financial condition of this Supreme Council so that your finances can be transparent to all of our members.
The Master Craftsman Online College is now the largest online Masonic learning platform in the world, with more than 5,500 students on our virtual campus at mastercraftsmancollege.org. Master Masons from all 50 states and recognized Grand Lodges around the world are seeking more light in Masonry through the Master Craftsman Online College. Our ever-growing online library includes all the original Master Craftsman courses, now in an exciting digital format, plus new courses and mini courses exploring the history, rituals, symbols, and traditions of our craft. Also available is our first ever Spanish language Master Craftsman course, Porque Trienta y Tres, a full Spanish translation of our award-winning Y33 mini course. This fall, to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the United States, we're launching a special series honoring those American Freemasons who helped found and shape our nation and our fraternity. Designed by Masons, for Masons, and open to any Master Mason, the Master Craftsman Online College can be accessed on your phone, tablet, or desktop at mastercraftsmancollege.org. The Master Craftsman Online College, Masonic education and engagement for the 21st century Mason.
Good morning. I am Bill Sloan, SGIG in Mississippi, and your new Grand Treasurer General. Your Finance Committee meets quarterly to review the investments and internal financial statements of the Supreme Council, Scottish Rite Foundation, and House of the Temple. Annually, the financial records of each of these three legal entities are audited by an independent CPA firm. The audit reports, including any recommendations for improving internal controls, are forwarded to the Council's Audit Committee, where they are independently reviewed by Council members who do not sit on the Finance Committee. The Audit Committee then shares the audit reports along with the IRS Form 990s with the rest of the Council. All required IRS forms have been filed in a timely manner, and the three entities retain their tax-exempt status. Our independent CPAs have not expressed any concerns related to our financial controls. Each year, a detailed article in the Scottish Rite Journal discusses our revenues and expenses so that every member can be fully informed. Our finance department has undertaken several initiatives this year, which are fully outlined in the Grand Commander's allocution, which is available on our website. During the biennium, our Chief Financial Officer visited several individual valleys and reviewed methods of improving financial controls and managing rental and other revenue streams. This free service to the valleys is graciously appreciated and has proven to be very helpful. The Supreme Council, Scottish Rite Foundation, and House of the Temple had a combined investment portfolio valued at $61.9 million on December 31st, 2024. The total return for the portfolio was 12.3% for calendar year 2024. Through our May 2025 returns, our returns are 4.3%. It is important to understand that the three legal entities operate under separate budgets. The Supreme Council has a budget for the 2024-2025 biennium of $10.6 million. Our budget increases by less than 3% in the new biennium, much less than any inflationary increase spread over the 2 years of the biennium. That means that our annual increase in expenses is about 1.5%. The House of the Temple budget for the 24-25 biennium is $5.8 million. Our budget increases by less than 3% in the biennium. Additionally, we expect to spend $1.7 million to complete the Temple renovation plan. The Scottish Rite Foundation budget for the 24-25 biennium is $4.5 million. This budget will increase by less than 3% in the biennium. The Finance Committee is continually engaged in long-range planning to ensure the financial stability of the Southern jurisdiction long into the future. The committee considers its roles as stewards of our members' funds to be vitally important. Thank you.
Charleston, South Carolina, the Holy City. In 1801, 11 Freemasons came together to create order out of chaos. Forged in revolution, guided by ancient mysteries, veiled in enigmatic symbols. Who were these 11 men? What secrets did they take to their graves? How have their Masonic ideals shaped the Mother Supreme Council of the world?
So this is a contemporary image of our first Grand Commander. We don't know where he's laid to rest.
There is a legacy and tradition of Scottish Rite to continue on what those gentlemen started for us.
Why was Masonry so important? Because it gave these men the recognition to serve the public interest.
It's amazing there. Like I said, first page you open up to, there's the most name of the book.
Yep. Now, Charleston's got a very interesting way of bringing people together. It's kind of a cool place.
In 2026, the Supreme Council will return to Charleston to reveal Masonic secrets locked away for 225 years. This isn't just a story about Freemasonry. It is a story of legacy, mystery, faith, and fraternity. The 11 Gentlemen, May 31st, 2026.
We will be holding a special session on May 31st, 2026, the 225th anniversary of the founding of this Supreme Council, and with it, the initial establishment of organized Scottish Rite Freemasonry as we know it today. That will be a small attendance event, but it will be live streamed. It'll be probably about an hour and a half, 2-hour event on the internet, but we'll be getting more information about that out to you in the coming weeks. I know many of you have been by the temple. I would encourage you to go to our temple and take a tour, but if you were unable to do that, maybe this might provide you some information.
Hello. I am Frank Baker, SGIG in Utah and chairman of the House of the Temple Committee. Our committee monitors the operation and maintenance of the building and grounds of the Supreme Council. We are in the final stages of the modified renovation plan of our iconic House of the Temple. We expect to complete the planned renovation by the 2027 session. The committee monitored the successful completion of many capital improvements during the biennium, including the following projects as note. We refurbished the 40-year-old pipe organ in the temple room, a project funded entirely by a $400,000 fundraising campaign. Construction began on the new banquet room level entrance. When completed in early 2027, this new entrance will allow direct access to the banquet room for caterers, allowing for significant growth in building rental income. The 30-year-old damaged and leaking roof of the temple over administrative spaces was replaced. We constructed a state-of-the-art collection storage room that doubled our collection storage capacity in a climate-controlled environment. A state-of-the-art archival storage facility was also constructed to store our valuable documents in a climate-controlled environment. Exterior colonnade lights were replaced with new high-efficiency LED lights that can be set to 16 different colors. We recently finished and are finalizing the programming of a new philanthropy room that uses cutting-edge technology combined with a wall of synchronized television screens to tell a wonderful story of the Scottish Rite's philanthropic efforts. Dozens of additional projects are outlined in the Grand Commander's allocution. These projects were all funded with the donated money, not from the dues of members. The committee also reviewed planned repairs and renovations during the coming biennium, including continued upgrades in the building and on the grounds. Our temple is one of the most recognizable Masonic structures in the world. Tour groups, both Masonic and non-Masonic, regularly visit and tour the facility. Visitors are routinely in awe at the sight of the architecture and contents. All brethren in the Southern Jurisdiction can take great pride in the inscription over the front door. Freemasonry builds its temples in the hearts of men and among nations.
At this time, I want to introduce another friend of mine from a jurisdiction that we work so closely with. We have known each other for several years, and his lady Vicky has become good friends with my wife Mary Ann, and we value their friendship. We journey across the world together, to be quite honest. But I would like for you to hear the words of one of just the most decent Masonic leaders that I have ever had the privilege to know. Illustrious Walter F. Wheeler, 33rd degree, the Sovereign Grand Commander of the Supreme Council, Northern Masonic Jurisdiction. Hear ye him.
Thank you. Protocol having already been established, I'll just start with good morning. This is a great looking crowd here. I'm kind of surprised Jim hasn't done a selfie yet. I think it'd be a great one. You know, we have an interesting structure here in the United States, having 4 different Supreme Councils. But I can honestly tell you that these 4 Supreme Councils work very closely together. We spend a lot of time with each other. We attend each other's events. We support each other. We're not only Masonic brothers, we've become friends. And being the new kid on the block, I've learned a lot from all 3 of these gentlemen, and I want to thank you guys for everything that you've done to help me learn my job. I want to especially thank illustrious Brother Jim. He, as probably everybody in this room knows, is an amazing man. I have learned so much from him. We've spent a lot of time together, as he said, in a lot of different ways. We've traveled the world together. I've seen him on the international stage. I've seen him on the national stage. I've seen him on the local stage. I've seen him on a golf course. That's interesting. I've seen him in just private situations. And he's always so articulate and so polite and nice and a gentleman. And he gives great advice. He really does. I hold him in such high esteem. And illustrious Brother Jim, I want to thank you very much for your friendship and your mentorship. It means a lot to me. This is my first time at the Supreme Council. I have enjoyed it so far. I'm looking forward to the rest of it. But when I look in this room, I also see Masonic leaders from around the world. And actually, it gives me hope, because when I look at these men, and I know some of you, I'd like to meet all of you, but when I look at these men, I think there's hope for Freemasonry. We can make a difference in the world. And if we work together, and if we do things together, and if we promote our Masonic values and our Scottish Rite values, Freemasonry will grow and prosper. And I have no doubt, with the men in this room, and the men in my Supreme Council, and the Supreme Councils around the world working together, Freemasonry will become stronger and more prevalent than it is today. So brothers, thank you for everything that you do for our fraternity. I look forward to spending the next couple of days with you. Have a great afternoon. Thank you.
At this time, I would like to share some presentations with you. First of all, on our archives, the historical tie that we are responsible for as the Mother Council for maintaining our history. And that will be followed by a presentation on the Scottish Rite Research Society.
Hi everyone, this is Chris Rulli, Assistant Grand Historian of the Spring Council, and if you are a fan of Masonic history, especially Scottish Rite history, there are 3 places that you really want to check out in the House of the Temple. The library, of course, the museum, which contains a lot of interesting artifacts and regalia and jewelry, but our new space, our state-of-the-art archive space, is something that we're really excited to announce and share.
This room used to be a utility room where they would plan our construction projects, but now it is this brand new archive. It's about 2 years in the making, and so we're really excited to have it finished. This space is for all of our paper history, so it's all of the documents, all of the patents, all of the correspondence from the Supreme Council and Grand Commanders of the past.
We have hundreds and hundreds of these to go through, so it's going to be a busy day. Let's take a quick look at what is in one of these boxes. So I just opened this up and I've got a letter here from the Governor of Ohio congratulating the Grand Commander and supporting his efforts. John Bricker, who was the governor at the time. And so, you never know what you find when you open up these documents.
We even found what looks to be a genuine newspaper clipping from the Boston Tea Party.
So here's another state-of-the-art archive space that we just created. This contains most of our objects that are not paper-based. So you'll see certificates, portraits, things that have been framed, and we've got about 5 or 6 rows of materials.
Having all of this space is really helpful, as well as climate control and humidity control. This room will really make the archives the best they can be.
On behalf of our entire team, I just want to extend a special thanks to everyone who supported the building of these state-of-the-art facilities of the House of the Temple, especially to the thousands of Scottish Rite brothers throughout the United States in their valleys and orients who are keeping Scottish Rite history alive.
Good morning. I am James Graham, SGIG in Arkansas, and president of the Scottish Rite Research Society. Now in its 34th year, the Society continues to advance Masonic research and education through its leading publications and activities. The Research Society now has 3,227 members. While the majority of members come from valleys in the southern jurisdiction, membership is open to all, and we welcome brethren from the northern Masonic jurisdiction and many Supreme Councils represented here today. We printed and distributed to our members volume 31 of our flagship publication, Herodom, which always features new and engaging research on Scottish Rite and Masonic history, Masonic philosophy, ritual, and more. Volume 32 is expected to be printed this fall, and the publication's editor, illustrious Brother Adam Kendall, 33rd Degree, is now accepting papers for volumes 33 and 34 for all of you authors out there. Our quarterly newsletter, The Plumb Line, returned in the fall of 2024 in a new digital format with a new editor, Brother B. Chris Rulli, 32nd Degree KCCH, Assistant Grand Historian of the Supreme Council. This new format has reduced costs, but also has provided a new and exciting form of engagement. 2 bonus books were produced and distributed to the members of the Research Society. First was Julius F. Sacchi's Ancient Documents Related to the Ancient and Accepted Scottish Rite, a reprint of a 1915 publication. Documents important primary sources related to the history of the Scottish Rite, as well as found in the Grand Lodge of Pennsylvania's archives. The publication provides insight into the Order of the Royal Secret in the West Indies and in Philadelphia, and the organization's transition to the ancient and accepted Scottish Rite from 1781 until the founding of the Mother Supreme Council in 1801. The second bonus book is Etienne Morin, From the French Rite to the Scottish Rite, by illustrious brothers De Hoyos and Brother Wages. This publication documents through primary resources, including letters of correspondence and patents, the Masonic career and activities of Etienne Morin, the founder of the Order of the Sublime Princes of the Royal Secret in Saint-Domingue, modern-day Haiti. The Research Society held 2 educational symposia since our last biennial session on October 14th, 2023 and October 19th, 2024. Each symposium was well attended with over 120 registered attendees and brethren who participated either in person or virtually. Plans are currently underway to hold our next symposium in 2026. We welcome 2 directors to our board, illustrious L. Ken Collins, 33rd degree, Grand Secretary General of the Supreme Council, Ancient and Accepted Scottish Rite, Southern Jurisdiction, Prince Hall affiliated, and Brother B. Chris Ruley, 32nd degree KCCH, Assistant Grand Historian of our Supreme Council. I want to extend my thanks to both of our new directors as well as to the rest of the board for their contributions. I also particularly want to invite all of you who are not currently members to consider becoming a member of the Research Society. We welcome all, Mason or non-Mason, who are interested in deepening an understanding of the beauty and the history and the philosophy of Freemasonry. Members get a great value with all of the wonderful publications our society produces. Memberships are available by visiting our membership webpage, accessible through the Supreme Council website. You can also, for those who are here in person, scan the QR code in the special printed edition of the plumb line produced for this biennial session, which are in your attendee bags. Thank you.
At this time, I would like to recognize, we did this in our executive session, but I wish to recognize 3 active members who will be retiring during the upcoming biennium. They have served us long and well. First, the SGIG in Montana, illustrious David Nielsen. If you would please rise at your seat, we thank you very much for your service. Also, our outgoing, immediate past Grand Prior and the SGIG in the District of Columbia, a good friend and a good advisor to me personally, illustrious Lynn Proden, 33rd degree. And the one for the last couple of bienniums that had been my right hand and the voice of reason in my ear, the illustrious Joe R. Manning, Jr., 33rd degree, past Lieutenant Grand Commander, SGIG in Oklahoma. Thank you so much, and we know you will continue to be with us and support us. And don't worry, I'm going to keep calling each of you and keep you working. Now at this time, I'd like for us to think about other ways that we have expended some of these generous gifts and how we've taken care of people. To our brother Grand Almoner.
Good morning. I'm Marlon Mills, Sovereign Grand Inspector General in Maryland, and serving as the Grand Almoner and a member of the Council's Benevolence and Fraternal Assistance Committee. Each biennium, the Southern Jurisdiction and its affiliated charities spend approximately $1 billion caring for others, a great testament to the hard work of all Scottish Rite Masons. This jurisdictional effort includes the support of over 170 Rite Care programs, serving thousands of children annually. Our Rite Care programs help children communicate better. During the biennium, more than $20 million was spent providing life-changing service. We helped 145,576 children during the last 2 years. Whether in cooperation with universities or in standalone clinics and programs, our brethren's gifts help children improve their communication skills and allowed them to access greater educational opportunities and live more independent lives. We support life-altering miracles, one child at a time. To effectively provide this incredible service, our Rite Care clinicians and administrative staff must receive the latest and best training and education. In September of 2024, under the leadership of the Orient of Nebraska, Scottish Rite Masons provided critical training to attendees from 16 states. Presentations included sessions on how to coach families with young children on the autism spectrum and how to use prompting and reinforcement to teach a child new communication and play skills. Other sessions included innovations in telepractice, adopting books to incorporate play in therapy, fundraising models, and building effective teams. In 2026, the Valley of San Diego will host the next Rite Care Conference, and many of our clinicians are already planning to attend. Additionally, your generous gifts to the Scottish Rite Foundations were used by the Grand Almoner to respond to disasters and aid many worthwhile programs. Thousands of dollars have been raised and expended in support of devastation wrought in Hawaii after a major wildfire in August of 2023, and from the wildfires in California, natural disasters in Kentucky, North Carolina, Alabama, and elsewhere in our jurisdiction. Since the beginning of 2024, we have received $182,423 in cash gifts and $717,700 in designated planned gifts for this cause. I would like to say congratulations to everyone who assisted in this great and generous efforts. Your generosity has helped your neighbor. And in closing, I would like to say thank you very much for your continued support of these important programs. Thank you.
My name is Gabrielle Belil. Our journey definitely started in elementary school where I had undiagnosed learning disabilities. The school could not help us because my grades were okay.
A friend of mine who came here and said, you know, you might want to have her tested at Scottish Rite.
That's really the only way that we get new clients is by word of mouth. Oftentimes they'll say, a friend of mine told me about the Scottish Rite.
It was a godsend. I mean, we came here, they did a really comprehensive exam.
I was terrified. I'm not going to lie. I was dreading it the second we walked into the door. We felt so welcomed. They gave me a little snack, which was, I will always remember because it was so nice. She really reached out to me and said, this is not something that's going to set you back.
We realized she had an auditory processing disorder, dyslexia, dyscalculia, dysgraphia.
Gabby came knowing that she was a very intelligent young lady, but that there was just something that wasn't quite right for her. One of our therapists was able to provide the assistance that she needed to put her pieces together.
Well, that was it. She took off and running. and her self-esteem just blossomed. She blossomed.
I went to Oxford for a business and economics class. It was the best experience of my life. I flew to England by myself, stayed there for 3 weeks, took college classes. I'm going to Georgetown to study business and economics once again.
Never, ever forget the impact that you have as a Mason on the lives of children every single day.
Really, for all the Scottish Rite Masons, a sincere thank you, because to watch your child struggle with something, and as a parent, you feel helpless. And without their support, without this being here, we would be lost. She would not have gone to Oxford. She would not be going to Georgetown. She would not be applying to the colleges that she's applying to.
All I have to say is thank you. I don't think I would be where I am today and be as successful through schools, outside activities, jobs, anything like that if it wasn't for Scottish Rite language and child development.
I had not seen that video before, and I told Maynard I didn't have to, because the greatest challenge of my tenure as Grand Commander was stepping to the podium and having to speak after Gabby at our Orient Conference, because she just blew the audience away. She is an incredible product of the Right Care program, and you should be very, very proud of that. At this time, I would advise you that last evening I officially recognized our new emeriti members of honor at a dinner. We elected 12 of these illustrious brethren. Several of them mentioned that to me as they came forward. The names are before you. I will not read them for you. You can read them for yourself. That's right. I'm not as good on pronunciations as our Grand Master of Ceremonies. But we are indeed honored to have them among us. So would you show your appreciation for these new members? You know, the other thing that we do each biennium is that we honor members from around the jurisdiction. I want us to think about that for just a second. You know, I want to recognize them at this time. And tomorrow evening at the honors banquet, we will be rolling the names by Orient of the KCCH elects and the 33rd elects and the Grand Cross that we elected. We elected 713 of these worthy brethren to receive the Knight Commander of the Court of Honor. If the new elects to the KCCH are in the room, I want you to stand at this time, if there are any out here. Yes. We also elected 341. You think that's a lot? You should sign each of those certificates. Is that right, Brother Grand Secretary General? 341 worthy brethren to receive the 33rd degree Inspector General Honorary of this Supreme Council. Would you please stand? I know there's a lot of them over this way. You notice several of those Grand Masters stood. That really feels good. And for the Grand Cross of Honor, we did elect one worthy brother to receive the highest honor that we can bestow, the Grand Cross of the Court of Honor. And he is from the Orient of Oklahoma, illustrious William Cason Cox, 33rd degree. So if you, I don't think that he's with us. He's not with us today, but please show your appreciation for him. And now there's a little thing called the Grand Commander's Lunch and Dinner Prep Talk. That's what it says. Today, as noted on the screen, basically, if you are on this side of the altar, I ask that you go on the other side of that wall will be luncheon. After we leave, please, if you're on this side, consider going on the other side of that wall. What we are trying to do is offer the same lunch on each side. It's just an easier way to flow that way. Please try not to, hold 15 chairs at your table for your brothers. Just try to get in there at the same time as much as you can. I would also remind you that there are no reserving or saving of tables tomorrow night at the Tuesday evening banquet. These gentlemen that processed in will each be hosting a table, and they will be responsible for inviting members to and their ladies to their tables. I'm hosting one. I've already talked to my guest and said, you need to come find me at the table when you come in. So please understand, don't go in tomorrow night and try to run in and save a table. We're trying to get everyone in. We're in a fraternity, okay? So we can enjoy meeting new friends even if we don't sit with the one that we had planned for the last 2 days to sit with. We can try to work all this out. The staff and the interns, there'll be about a dozen folks in there helping you find open tables. Or if you say, my SGIG said I was at table number 15 or whatever, then they will help you find that table, okay? So it's pretty simple. When we process out today, I would ask if you would please remain standing at your seat until the Supreme Council is completely out of the room here. And then you can go out, because we're carrying swords, we're carrying a standard. The guys in the front of the line, you don't want to mess with them trying to get out of front there. So I just ask that you cooperate with us on that and help us with that. At this time, I would like to announce, as we're pulling up the names of the officers for the coming biennium, I would like to ask if those representing the charter recipients for the valleys, if those Orient leaders and the charter recipients would please come forward basically toward the standard here. There you are. And you see before you the appointed officers on this particular slide. If you will note there, some additional appointed officers of the Supreme Council as well. And the elected officers of the Supreme Council, I apologize, but if y'all come back next year, you may be hearing me again. But there you have your elected and appointed officers. Would you please join me in congratulating them? And now at this time, I get to do something very special, and that is present charters. Would the Orient leaders of those Orients receiving charters please come forward with the Valley representatives. Just line them up over here. Just line up right over here. Y'all step forward, please. Come on up this way. Okay? Okay. Right up here, Ted. And if my Orient leaders would get behind each of them, who do we have? Tuscaloosa. All right. This is a Lodge of Perfection charter, Tuscaloosa Lodge of Perfection. And it is my privilege to present this to you under the seal of this Supreme Council. And we are very, very proud of you. And if I want your fellow to step up here, we're going to kind of do this. Now, what'll happen is we're going to have an official photo opportunity after everyone steps out to lunch. But what we wanted to do was to make sure we had a shot right here of this presentation. Then we'll come back, and if you have others from the valley, we can make a big picture after that. But we won't have people sit and watch all of us get up here. Thank you. Oh, Shenandoah. All right. I'm particularly proud of this one because I had a wee bit of a hand in it. This is a Lodge of Perfection charter, Shenandoah. That's in Virginia, in case y'all didn't know. Lodge of Perfection. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Alan, come over here. No, that's all right. Come on. I'll be right here. How about that? Always let two flashes go, and then we can go. Very good. Fayetteville, the Marquis de Lafayette chapter of Rose Croix. And in North Carolina, I tell you, this valley is really going great guns, and I'm very proud of you. It gives me a great honor to present this to you as well. Thank you. Thank you. Bluefield, the Council of Kadosh, Bluefield, West Virginia. And it is a pleasure for me to present this to you, Ted, and to you, Paul. Now, let's hold this way. And see, they're pulling a twofer here. They also got a charter for their consistory as well. So we're going to overlay this right on top of that one. Thank you. Thank you very much. Behold your new chartered bodies and the Orient leaders that made it possible. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I hate to tell you, but the only thing between you and lunch is me. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. You know, my hardworking executive assistant, Elizabeth Sizemore, who hides behind the screen over there, asked me once, and I don't think she had to ask me again because she knows the answer. But one time she asked me, she said, "What's the favorite part of session?" And I said, "When I can step down on the floor and just share a couple of moments with my brethren." And I'd like to share just a couple of thoughts with you. You heard already from my lovely lady. There was a little statement in there about the fact that, how did he come about to the fraternity? I didn't have any family members in the fraternity. I had seen a couple of what I found out later to be Masonic lodges. But right after I reached the 25th birthday, I had Sunday dinner at my mom's house, and she said, "You ought to consider joining the Masonic Lodge." And I said, "What's the Masonic Lodge?" And she said, "I don't know. But all the good men I have known throughout my life, turns out they were members." That's the sole reason I'm standing here. In effect, because of each of you, because the kind of man that you are. Not necessarily the kind of Masonic leader you are. You got all the gold. You got the fancy aprons. I got a couple of those too. It's not about the robes. It's about who you are. How people look at you very well might mean whether they join you. And sure not what we wear. It's not necessarily what we do inside these meetings either. Because guess what? I didn't see what went on inside of those meetings before I decided to join them. Yet we have so much trouble listening to the final admonition in every meeting. These generous principles are to extend further. Every human being has a claim upon your kind offices. Therefore, do good unto all. We don't say just those inside the building with you. Do good unto all. A-L-L. That means the guy that jumps in front of you at the McDonald's line. That means the guy that's sitting at the traffic light when the light turns green and he thinks it's more important to send that text. All. A-L-L. But we add to that, more especially to the household of the faithful. What does that mean and why? I had to find that out as I went ahead. I went along with the deal. I went and talked to them. And I joined. And I had the blessing from my father that the Tyler of that lodge was a man that within a few years referred to Marianne and I as his adopted children. We came that close. Most worshipful and illustrious, John Boyd Obenshane. The Tyler of my lodge, when I first came in it, was the Grand Senior Warden in Virginia. And he just sort of took me under his wing. And he certainly took Mary Ann. He and Joanne took Mary Ann under their wing. You saw how she feels based on that video about all of this. Because she sees you outside the lodge, outside this little squared circle. And what does that mean in our journey? You know, how do we become coming in and then ultimately being an example for the next one? How? Why do we do that? What does it all mean to us? What's so special about us? Well, what's so special about us is the reason that when I talk, I walk. And I usually walk near this. Because it was right there in that little lodge of then 69 members that I formed the bonds that carried forward. You saw how I stood right there and how I received my good friends, the Grand Masters from Texas, South Dakota, AC from South Carolina, this young man here who tells people that in part he's the Grand Master of Kentucky because of an article, a few articles that I wrote when I was Grand Master. Think about that. Take that pebble and toss it into the pond, and it's the effect you have on others. But we can do that together because we are bound right there from where we started. And it means that when he suffered the loss of illustrious and most worshipful Tommy Watson, that as soon as I found out, I picked up the phone and called the Grand Secretary of South Carolina, and you had just come into the room with the other Grand Lodge officers. Because we promised that that's what we would do, didn't we? And I was reminded of that in June of this year. I was reminded of why I stay in this. Because there are wonderful men in here, and we take care of one another. In June, I was sitting in Philadelphia. We were being hosted by Mel Bazemore. We meaning Walt and Corey and Mel and I, had just concluded the 4th summit of the Grand Commanders of the United States. And we were sitting at the table, and a phone call came. It was from my dear Masonic brother and almost brother, Scott Obenchain. I told them, I said, I have to take this because I kind of knew what was going to happen. I took the call, and I went off in the corner over there, and I talked to Scott, and indeed, John Boyd Obenchain had passed. John had not known me for maybe 8 or 10 years. He had not known his own lovely lady for some time. But it was still difficult to know that at least maybe even the glimmer that sometimes came to his eye as I presented him with his 60-year pen a few years ago. A man whose physical health, was presented in the lodge to me with his son and his best friend. And as I did the ceremony for his 60th year pen, John kind of came into focus a few times. And I knew he knew me, and I knew he was there. But, and I knew that the man who had got me into all of this was there. And then he would fade away. And then he would come back. But when he was there, I knew why. I knew we still had a little bit of this. But it was proven to me when I was standing over in that corner after I got off the phone trying to compose myself. Corey Hawkins came over and said, "Sovereign, are you okay?" About 2 steps behind him was Walt Wheeler. And Mel was getting up out of his chair to come around the table at the same time. That's who we are. It doesn't end because we have promised it. And you saw all of this stuff that we've been doing. You saw Gabby, that scholar, that product of our programs. You saw the scholarship recipients. Samantha, you saw what we're doing. And you know what? When it's all said and done, because of the promises we made here in the presence of our Supreme Architect, by whatever name that we individually call him, with his strength, living up to the promises that we have made, we're going to continue to be the kind of men that proves my mama right. God bless you for who you are. Thank you. For the Grand Herald, by virtue of the authority vested in me as Sovereign Grand Commander of this Supreme Council, I declare the public session closed. And at this time, Brother Grand Herald, if you will assemble the Supreme Council so that we may retire from this room prior to lunch. Would you please remain in your stations, at your seats, folks, and then feel free to go to lunch. Brother Grand Herald.
Already catching up to me.